Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Sammons, and in each episode, we'll uncover stories behind successful startups, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're super excited to have Sarah Wilson joining us, the founder of Coastal Coaching Sussex, a leadership and identity coaching practice dedicated to helping high-achieving women break free from toxic cycles, reclaim their confidence, and step into authentic leadership. Drawing from her corporate background, Sarah journeys through trauma and years of coaching. Sarah now guides her clients to overcoming imposter syndrome, redefining their identity, and building career and lives rooted in clarity and empowerment. Sarah, very warm welcome to Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's amazing. So with all my guests, I like to start at the beginning of their journey so the listeners can have an overview. So can you take me back before you started coaching, and what were you doing before that, and what motivated you to start up the company?
So Coastal Coaching started during the pandemic, which for a lot of people, I think they thought it was quite a crazy time to be thinking of opening up a business. But at that point, I was working in social care in a leadership role, but the place was really toxic. And I'd known that for a while. If I look back and I'm really honest with myself, it was never really going to be the place that was a great fit for me. And my own mental health really took a bit of a struggle during the pandemic. So part of it was I needed something positive to focus on. Part of it was I needed something else to focus on beyond like the day-to-day of what was happening. Like my husband was frontline. I was homeschooling two very different children, but the company that I was working for during the pandemic made me part-time. And it was one of the most difficult things to deal with, but actually ended up being such a positive, because I think I was always supposed to do this, but I maybe wouldn't have made the decision to start my practice myself. I needed a bit of a kick really, and that was certainly the kick that really helped me. And that stems back to my own sort of past experiences and wanting to help people who are a previous version of me.
Love it. Thank you for sharing that with us. And as you say, sometimes those uncomfortable kicks are what we need to get us moving on the track that suits us best. So I really love to hear that. And then let's dive into the business itself. So for example, what would it be like to work you, and what is the core offer in which you do?
So my business is based in basically who I used to be. So I had some challenges during childhood, which created a story of not feeling good enough. And because they're created in childhood and they become your beliefs, like we don't question them. Yeah. So when we go into adulthood, still thinking that we're not good enough, what we do is we open up a frequency that brings in these toxic relationships. So I remember thinking that my toxic relationship started in adulthood, but it was a massive step for me to realize it had started quite a long time before that. So the people that I work with are people who have experienced some sort of challenge that has made them realize that actually they are really filled with self-doubt, the imposter syndrome side of things. So generally they'll come to me when they're having a problem and they realize that the inner doubt that they have maybe in other areas of their life is now starting to seep into work. And work is the place where they have their main identity. Like they know who they are, work is their escape, work is their haven. So they come to me when they start to think that maybe that's being threatened a little bit. They generally come to me with one problem, but what we do is we unpick and actually find out the real source of the problem. So the real source of the problem could be rooted back in childhood with an event that happened or a thing that was said that has then made them walk this pathway. So the environment I create for my clients is one where they feel completely heard, maybe for the first time, totally understood by somebody who has lived experience in that area and that they can be open with. And then there's something about me that people feel that I'm a safe person to open up to. And quite a few times I've had clients who said, I told you I was never going to tell you that bit. And then here it is laid out. And that gives me a really good insight as to where the issues have started from, really, so that we can unpick those and do something different with this story instead of making it how they have taken it to be and how it's impacted their life now.
Yeah. Do you often find that when you're speaking and coaching people, what they come to you with initially or what they self-diagnose the problem with is often quite different to the actual root cause to which you find coming through?
Absolutely. So they think the problem is usually a symptom. So, for example, they're struggling to stand up in meetings and they're struggling to have their voice heard. But actually, the reality is that the problem is something that is in their unconscious mind.
Yeah.
Some people have said, I know that I need coaching, but I don't know what the problem is. And
Yeah.
that's not your job, that's my job. So, as long as you know that you've got a dissatisfaction in your life and you are aware that you've had some experiences that could have knocked your confidence, then it's my job to go in there and find out where the issue is. So, yeah, for sure.
Exactly that. And then in terms of the type of people, what would you say is your ideal customer? Who is it that you'd love to work with?
So my ideal client, she is in some form of leadership role. So maybe she owns her own company, or maybe she's in leadership in corporate, which is obviously where my history is.
Yeah.
And she has really struggled with generally a challenging relationship, particularly with her mum. Work has always been her haven, but outside of that, if you looked at her personal life compared to her career, like the two are just not, you wouldn't
Mm.
fit them together for the same person at all. I think we have to go through a number of passages of life before you are ready for coaching. So generally,
Yeah.
my clients are between about 35 and 55, experiencing this real knock to their self-doubt, very aware that their inner voice is causing problems,
Yeah.
and they are ready to go. I just need to do whatever it needs to do this and to make these changes because I am so tired of my personal life not reflecting. And it's not to say that I'm there to help somebody to date. What I'm there is to help them to have such a strong identity for themselves and a strong relationship with themselves that should they desire to walk into another relationship, it's like a positive addition to their life, not this thing that they end up, because you give out this frequency. And for me, my experience was I just kept having toxic relationships
Yeah.
because I gave out that frequency. That's all I was worth. And it's about changing that in a really
Yeah.
rooted way.
100%. My mind goes straight to that old-fashioned saying is you like accept the love you think you deserve kind of thing. And I genuinely believe for myself in general, that's all aspects of life, whether that be at work, in a relationship, or just the love you show for yourself, I feel is the most important. So I'm assuming when people come to you, they're having a balance of one side's doing really great and then maybe like on the personal side is not so great and they need to really even everything out.
Absolutely. Yeah, they don't understand why this work persona, who is never swayed by what's going on, is completely different when they're outside of work, and they don't understand how to tally the two.
Yeah.
And that's where I come in to help bridge that gap.
Amazing. And then I do want to get into the nuts and bolts a little bit of the business. So, in terms of how you go about acquiring customers and lead generation, is there any kind of thing that you're finding most effective at the moment that's working well for you?
Certainly, word of mouth is a big one for me. People who've worked with me, I then end up collecting like other members of their family or their
Yeah.
friendships and things like that. So that's a big thing. What I would say that I've learned over my 5 years is that when you think you found something that is always going to work, something in the algorithm or how people consume completely changes. So for a while, LinkedIn was really beneficial to me. And before that, I used a lead generation platform that was really good.
Cool.
But just as you think that it's working, something changes and you have to be ready to adapt. So I would say at the moment, it's changed from social media to networking, in person conversations. I'm also starting to do some PR now. So I'm getting pieces that are going out there, hopefully to get into to places like Cosmopolitan and
Nice.
psychologies and things like that. But yeah, I think it's changing again. And I think it's about storytelling. I think it's about energy and who people feel you are. So I think that we're moving more away from social media and more into in person, or we're reading something rather than doom scrolling and flitting through something.
Yeah, I think it's definitely changing in the sense of what we're putting onto social media and what people are seeing. They need to have that kind of bond and relationship from the get-go, whereas like the generic kind of putting out the ads and clicking for things is definitely changing. But in terms of marketing yourself, is there any kind of thing that you're like Do you do the marketing? Do you have a team that help you do that? Or what does that side of it look like as well?
It's a bit of a mix and match, really. So I have one member of the team only comes in for projects when we're doing like a campaign or a launch. I have one member of the team who puts out all of my things into local community groups. And I have another member of the team who does things like my newsletters and what have you. And for me, it was really about making sure I got the right person for the right jobs if I was going to outsource bits.
Yeah.
My next step would be to have somebody who can do more of the copy, because I do a lot of the copy myself, and I would like to have somebody else in team for that. But it works as it is. But I think one of the biggest things was making sure that I was really clear on what everybody's speciality was that I could then utilize.
Yeah.
So it depends what it is. Like now, social media, instead of my lead generation, it's more of a credibility side of things. So yeah, so it depends what area it is, but I've got people with various
Yeah.
specialisms.
Yeah, nice. And then, so once you've got the client in front of you, whether it be through referral or, as you were saying before, through LinkedIn or the lead generation platform, what does the sales process look like? Is it then they speak to you straight afterwards on a discovery call kind of thing? Walk me through that.
So initially we will either do, and actually this has become a bit more popular, so a bit of voice noting via WhatsApp has become more of a thing recently, or just some sort of messaging. Then they'll hop on a quick call with me. Now, if they are really like, oh my God, this sounds amazing and I'm in, then we'll probably go straight to discovery call. If that person's still feeling quite tentative, then I put another, not barrier, because that makes it sound like it's bad, but I just put another bit of safety in between them. So we'll just have a quick call on the phone first of all. Some people are real reflectors, so I never push anybody into having a discovery call. It is just if they feel like it's a good fit and what have you. And then, yeah, we have a discovery call on Zoom, which is getting to know each other a little bit more. By then, they know the product, they know the investment level. And then at that stage, generally, we'll be doing the onboarding as they're on the call as well.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, then we start sessions as soon as possible after that, because by that point, people are just really wanting to get going.
Love it. And I suppose so because I've already had that discovery call with you, you can dive in and take it straight through.
Yeah.
From, have you ever thought about, because as you're saying, implementing, there's another, I'm assuming sometimes when they're not sold on the first discovery call, you have to run the follow-up and run it from there. Is that what
If somebody isn't in on the discovery call, then I am very much like, I will leave it with
you?
you.
Perfect.
However, what I have developed recently is, because up until probably June, I just had a signature program, and some people would be out simply because the investment level. So
Yeah.
now I've got lower investment level things. They can almost have a bit of a try before you buy kind of thing if they're not in there straight away. And I think that has really helped bridge that. So the idea will be that they'll do something lower cost, they'll see the value of it, and they'll be like, I need to do this one-to-one with Sarah to get the really good stuff out, and that's what I'm going to do.
Amazing. Yes, you've got the lower offer in there to build the trust before they can really dive in and take full
Absolutely.
advantage of the process.
Yeah.
Perfect. What is the vision for the next 12 months? Are there any goals or targets, milestones that you're looking forward to achieving and working towards?
Yeah, so there's quite a bit. So this is going to be my 6th year that I'm going into, and there's quite a bit that I haven't done before. So I'm super excited about beta testing some of those things. So alongside my one-to-one, I will also have a group.
Nice.
So the group program will work around the method that I've created, which is called the success method. And every month, although there's 7 letters in success, every month over 6 months, we will do the same cycle. So it goes through people's, who they're spending their time with and what the environments they're in, how to up level to the next stage of themselves. It looks at their core beliefs. It looks at all the strategies and things they need to have in their toolkit to help them. It's so about finding out their values and who they are, their relationship with their selves, which is core beliefs and relationship with yourselves are probably the biggest pillars, and then soul purpose as well. So making sure that you understand why it's super important to have a purpose and how you can go about finding it. Now, of course, most of my business founders have already discovered what their purpose in life is, but lots of people who are coming through from corporate are like, actually, I am starting to question if this is what I'm really on this earth for.
Yeah.
So we do that over a period of 6 months. So I'm super excited to get some people into that and beta test it. But long term, I would like to be able to have more of these group environments, which I really stayed away from before. But now I'm confident I know what that environment looks like. I feel much happier that perhaps what I'm doing can reach a lot more people by doing that.
Amazing, interesting. So what's drawn you to pivot more towards group coaching than the one-to-ones?
Because with one to one, yes, there might be, and often is, a ripple effect because people will come on to calls and say to me, oh, I told
Yeah.
my friend about this bit that we've done and rah, 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 and they're going to try. That's great, but it is at the end of the day just one person at a time. If I can do something with more people, then I'm
Yeah.
getting more of that education side out there. And partially, selfishly, that's for me to know that I'm helping more people and potentially bringing more people into my world. But it's also because I cannot get my head around the idea that I have had the experiences in life that I've had, and it's not to be channeled into something positive that's going to
Love
help
it.
people.
Amazing. So what do you feel are the biggest challenges in making all that happen at the moment?
So, time. I do believe that you can carve time for the things that are important for you, but equally, when you're in the midst of it, sometimes it can feel like,
Yeah.
oh my God, how much have I still got to do? So, time is part of that. But I think also I'm in a much better position in terms of mindset around it as well. And I think I'd always shied away thinking, oh my God, that sounds like a lot of work and I'm going to have to deal with lots of different personalities. But I've come to realize more recently that I will still attract the people who are the right personalities to this. Just because it's a group situation isn't going to make that any different. And so, yeah, so for me, it's about having that additional element, which I think is going to be super important for my own journey as much as theirs.
Yeah, I love it, especially if time is a bit, it's one thing that many founders and entrepreneurs can probably have in common, wearing those many hats, doing all the jobs under the sun, and then still having to get on and do the job of the actual fulfillment and the coaching. So I can completely get behind and on board with
Yeah,
that.
because we haven't come into the businesses that we do to do marketing. We've come into
Yeah.
the businesses that we do to do the delivery. And I'm great at the delivery, but a lot of it is learning as you go. And also now, whereas before I would have wanted it to be perfect, now
Yeah.
I'm like, messy action is better than no action. I'm going to be really upfront with this group part that this is the first time I've done it. And so, therefore, if there are things on the way, and also you can involve people a bit more. If you're
Yeah.
trying something, like, give me the feedback. Is there something different that you want? What's going on? Yeah, so I have a completely different mindset to it before. And in hindsight, I think I was just really scared at the idea of doing something with a group, whereas now I feel much better about it.
Do you find the dynamic changes when you've got a group of people speaking back at you or maybe listening and chipping into maybe just a one-to-one?
Yeah, it is a different dynamic. The mistake I made last time was I created and curated the group, not intentionally, but I was the expert in the group and I was the person who led everything. Whereas
Gotcha.
this time I want to create a community where there is more discussion,
Yeah.
community interaction rather than just an audience.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's a big difference to before for sure.
Yeah, I get what you mean. So everyone's learning and bouncing off of each other as well as just you in the room where you
Yeah.
can pull. Love it.
And then I don't have to be present all the time. That
Yeah.
can sometimes be the idea of a great leader is somebody who doesn't even need to speak and everything runs as it should. So for me, it I don't want it just to rely on my presence in the group.
Love it. And again, do you not think like camaraderie sometimes works well for the clients and the people you work with, just not knowing that there's other people they can lean on and other people they can go to that are in similar situations? Does
Oh
it help
God, yeah,
as well?
definitely. Because I certainly felt like I was the only person experiencing what I was experiencing. And people take a great load of comfort. So
Yeah.
sometimes clients, particularly in early sessions, will be like, oh, this might sound ridiculous or blah, 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 and come out with something that actually all of my clients feel and everybody experiences. And they get so much comfort from the fact that they're not alone. And I could do all of this in some of the toxic relationship groups and things that are on Facebook. But one of the rules for my group is that there is no victim mentality here. And
Love
quite
it.
often in the groups on Facebook, they just rile each other up. And
Yeah,
that's not always helpful and conducive to actually coming through the journey.
definitely. Yeah, I didn't think of that side of things as well. So just to finish things off, we're going to move into a little bit of a lightning round.
Sure.
I'm going to shoot a couple of questions at you. So what's one tool, practice, or even ritual that has been a big game changer in your professional growth as you come through the business?
Okay, so the biggest thing actually that I have learnt is that you can just play. You can just play with it all. The more you try to get something perfect, the less perfect it's going to be. Perfect doesn't really exist because what is perfect is completely different to what somebody else will see. So listening to your soul has been like one of the most important things for me. So every day, when I lie in bed and I'm just coming around and waking up for the day, I will put my hands on my heart space and I will say, what does the business need today? And listen to what comes through, and what do my clients need? Oh, sorry, what do I need? It all starts with you. It all starts with how you're feeling inside. So one of the most important things is to check in with yourself. And when things are going well or I'm busy, I forget to do that. So creating it as part of my waking up routine has been really beneficial. And I've heard some things I didn't even realize were a thing. Sometimes the voice will be like, you need sleep. And it's a case of trying to look after yourself from that. But otherwise, yeah, listening to yourself and what your heart is telling you is really important, and playing with it is okay.
Love it. And what is the best piece of advice that you have received about leadership?
Oh, about leadership. Certainly the thing that I said earlier about a good leader doesn't need to speak for everything to go as it should.
I love that one.
Leadership, which is definitely one of my favourites. Above that, I know what's really important. Don't shy away from the conflict part of your team, because that's where the best ideas come from.
Love it. And then as a final note, to all of our listeners that maybe just at the start of their journey, what advice would you leave them with moving forward?
You haven't opened your business because you want to fail. You've opened your business because you want it to do well and you've got something to share. Some days it's going to be really hard, but every business owner feels like that. You're not alone. Find your community and your tribe where you can share your experiences and your journey. There'll always be somebody who is just behind you, but there'll always be somebody who's just in front of you who can give you some support and some insight for what you need. But find your tribe, because running a business needs your tribe.
Love that. And with that is a wrap on another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Sarah, thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your incredible insight with us. Where can people reach out to work with you or connect if they would like to?
Okay, so reaching out to connect with me, I'm on LinkedIn. If you look for Sarah Wilson, my name has a little blue butterfly next to it. So I'd love to connect with some of you. And I'm assuming we can put some things in the show notes, can we? As
Yes,
well?
of course. Yeah.
Check the show notes because they'll be in there as well. But yes, if you are following me on LinkedIn, you will get some interesting info coming your way soon about the newest offers, including this group program, which I am super excited about.
Amazing. So yeah, a big thank you to Sarah for sharing her incredible journey and impactful work with Coastal Coaching today. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future via wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we were able to go from 0 to 30 million in less than 3 years. And until then, keep climbing, and we will see you on the next one.